Peace and love to the family. It's been a minute. I had some time off. I wanted to get it in with my bros right quick on some shit for y'all called Old Time Religion. And it's on African spirituality and everything. I got my brother Carlos, my brother Amir, my brother Ngozi. Peace.
Peace, bro. Peace and love, man. Peace and love to the family, man. Team Osiris on the horizon, man. Uja, Seneb. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to get it in with my brothers, man, on some Team Osiris demo, bro. You know, we the street soupy, so we want to introduce uh certain things that we are aware of and put it out there the way it needs to be put out there. Peace and love.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace to the family. Peace to my Team Osiris family and everybody out there listening. And you know what I'm saying? We gonna go in that old time religion.
Yeah, man. I was wondering, as African Americans or Africans, period, even on the continent, I see when we look at spirituality and we look at religion, we always look into the Middle East. No matter either we Christian or we practice Islam or whatever, we always look into the Middle East. And when me and my brothers building, it's one common thing I always go back to, that the background of most of these faiths and where they getting a lot of their ideas from is from the same continent that we directly descend from, Africa. And part of the street Sufi thing is that we all here a part of. The Baraka movement is, we all practice spirituality in our own way, and we all know the root is the root of where we come from, man. I just want y'all brothers just build with me on that for a sec.
Yeah, very important for us to understand and appreciate Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization. Africa is the base root of Homo sapiens sapien, which is our species. Africa is the first place where man starts to develop symbolic thought that drives most of the productive creativity that you see. It's the base foundation and root of most of human development. And hold on, brothers, 1 second.
Exactly what brother Ngozi was saying, brother Amir was saying. Everything that all of these concepts that we came up with, all of that was first done in Africa. The first structures that we built, Africa. You know what I'm saying? All of the roots point to Africa. We're African species, like the brother just said.
That's peace, bro. That's peace, man. Like you say, all day with African species. And we was what was that we was building on the other day, Carlos? The Kabbalah and the Tree of Life.
Indeed, yeah. It's some deep stuff. The Kabbalah as a system, like it's just a to put it simply, it's it's just trying to find your origin in the cosmos. You know, these Jews, in Spain, came up. I don't know where they got all of their information from, but they were around the Moors. So there's some Islamic mysticism fused with some they Jewish mysticism. And what we was talking about was, while a lot of Westerners look to Kabbalah, actually there are concepts in African traditional religions and African traditions that are just as complex and predate Kabbalah. So Kabbalah is similar to a lot of these concepts that was already on the African continent as far as cosmology is concerned.
Absolutely.
For example, my bad, brother. For example, the Congo cosmology. The Congo cosmology is very complex, and I've seen things in the Congo cosmology that I've seen in Freemasonry, as far as them talking about standing perpendicular.
Indeed,
all of that is in the Congo cosmology. The movements of the four movements of the sun, death, rebirth, all of this stuff, and in his graphs and in drawings, where they was trying to articulate all this stuff. And this is before the Kabbalah.
And that also shows the common root between Kemet and West Africa and the Bantu speakers coming out of the Sahara. Because in it, the Kinga symbol, it can also be the Duwat, it can be Kepra, it can be Harakati, and it can be Atum when we're talking about the sun movements. And then it goes back into the Duwat after Atum. So it's just that's just showing the connection. It's all connected, man.
Yeah, absolutely. The Green Sahara plays a major role, man, in our development. A lot of these people started a lot of the symbolic signatures that you see in the Green Sahara. Even before you find the Pata Playa on the barks of northern Sudan, you find those same little, where they were dealing with astronomy. You find those same little stubble caps all through the early Green Sahara, and it's an article on that. So as they leading towards the Sahara, you can see what's going on. The Kabbalah, which means to receive, which was created in the 13th century, and before the 13th century, well, they had other bases of it because the methodology to climb from the Malkut, which is the bottom, and going up to Keter before you reach Ain Sif, you find a lot of those same things in the ancient Babylonian Chaldee tree of life. And before that, we got to remember, Africans gave birth to the Middle Easterns. Middle Easterns gave birth to Europeans. Let's follow that trail with the phylogenetic tree. And if you understand that, is that anything that you see that's going on in the Middle East, the base root or the foundation or the predecessor of it starts in Africa. And when you go into Africa, Africa have phases from sub-Saharan, south of the Sahara, to north, from northeast, going into the northern parts of the early Green Sahara. And the Paleo-Saharan population is very important. So all of the creativity, all of the base foundation with the zootypes or the zoomorphic symbolism of animals that you see in ancient Egyptian metal-netta, the tools that they use, all of it comes out of the Nile Valley, and before the Nile Valley, the early Green Sahara. Monarchy, dealing with the first system of rulership, you find that in Sudan first, and before Sudan, you got to go into further South Sudan. You get what I'm saying? And like my brother, Carlos brought up with, the masonry, people in the Congo had a lot of things that we find structured first, even before this so-called diplomatic aspect of what the Greeks introduced when it comes to politics. The people in the Congo had that first. They had so many systems in the Congo running governments. They had different houses. This is how powerful the Bantus were. One thing in Kemet was, if you don't see it with a symbolic eye, you miss the message. And you always see the symbol of Kansu holding his finger. The secret was always important. It was even a secret when he dealt with the encodement of dealing with agriculture. Agriculture is what was the base foundation of what formed Kemet before the pastoralists. After the pastoralists, and before that, the hunter-gatherers. So, all that's the stuff that you even find in East Asia, Southeast Asia, going into the Chaldees of Mesopotamia. It all has an influence from the people that gave rise to it, from the Near East to the Middle East, which is West Asia, to North Africa, and North Africa gets a lot of its stuff from Sub-Saharan Africa. And that's why when people like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Clarence 13X of Father God Allah talks about the lost tribe of Shabazz, we know that that's a Persian name or title, which means royal falcon. But Shabazz goes back to Heru, and Heru is that same falcon, regardless of the name change. So all of this stuff plays a major role with what and who we are and what makes us up. So that whole Sahara base is the blueprint of a Kemet, of a Yoruba, of an Igbo, of a Bantu, of a Mandinka. You know what I'm saying? It all starts there. It all starts there. And before there, it goes all the way back in time. We had a tree of life before we had the Chitin Unk or the Jed Pilar, which is the backbone of Asar, which is symbolic to strength and stability. You had the Inaiq, which is the Inaiq is one of the terms that the people in South Africa use, the hunter-gatherers down there, for their tree of life, which explains the same process. The same process.
That's powerful.
So, yeah, man. We're very complex people. And being an African or being who we are, you all that shit. The Congo cosmology, the ancient Ouagadougou cosmology, which is the predecessors of the Sanuke, which gave rise to the Mende and from the Menlike, which is Mendinka, to the Mande, to the Timne, all these people are part of the same structure. So we unify and put it all together and find that single point. But the most important thing is understanding what our Western Sudan and Congo Creole brothers brought from Noble Drew Ali to Farah Muhammad, regardless of some of the things being outdated and we could consider it pseudo on certain angles. The most important thing is understanding the basic fundamental key principles of those lessons when it comes to the 5% lessons or the Nation of God's or the Nation of Islam lessons and principle, especially when it comes to structure. To be arm, leg, arm, head, outside of the literal aspect of Allah being Alif, Lam, Lam, Ha, but to be that in visible form and that emblem, you should carry yourself a certain way, because the Egyptian in Peru and the coffin text tells you about you are divine. Each one of your limbs is a god.
Yes, sir. In the coffin text, your body is Wasir.
Your body is Wasir.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we have Team Osiris. Team Osiris, regardless of saying Osiris in the Greek form, but the truth is, this is what your body is Wasir. We ain't on no 10% shit. So the most key point for arm, leg, arm, head is head, the crown, because the whole goal is to link with that aspect of yourself to activate the divine principle within yourself, which is your personal creativity, figuring things out, understanding the power of thought. So you know what I'm saying? So the blueprint is set. Baraka, which means to be blessed. Baraka, which means to kneel, to be humble, has a lot of meaning, from Medonetta to Semitic. In Hebrew and Arabic, it means blessed, to Medonetta, all the way. You can even find the term Baraka in certain Bantu languages. It's deep. This is the deeper aspect of the street Sufi philosophy.
Peace. That's peace right there, brother.
Peace. Yeah, I didn't know the Baraka and the Bantu, the Mindi connection. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can look up the term Baraka in the Congo. Look up the term Baraka in Bantu languages. Baraka, it's powerful. And what I'm saying is that this is the street Sufi philosophy, because we are the street mystics. We are urban mystics because we go through shit. You know what I'm saying? The greatest Buddha to me, or Adisa, one who is clear, is niggas that went through shit and survived. And as much shit as we've been through, it ain't no way in hell we should be looking forward to anything else.
No reason to.
Speaking of the great brother Noble Drew Ali, when he said, what does the Moors say? Time never was when man was not.
Was not.
That's powerful. And going back to the Congo cosmology, it's all a Dekinga is the continuity of human life. And going back to, we older than the sun, moon, and the stars, coming from the supreme wisdom lessons and things like that. It's all saying the same thing, the continuity of human life. That's what it's about.
And the real you at the root of atomic particles, even going behind molecular molecules, which is a collection of atoms, is the quantum reality or the quantum realm. And going below that, you get into vectors and hydrons in the absolute 0 point. You do the real you, which is not the idea of self that we create as we develop, and from this new, biological blueprint that we had from the time that we've been born and the time we expire and fade out of here. That's not, none of that's ultimately you. The witness, which is Amen Renef, is who you really are. It's a hidden aspect of Aludumari and Ifa called Akamara. Akamara exists before you even find Aludumari folding or expanding things into being. So even before the quantum particles, which is only a medium between the upper world and the lower world, or the real reality, which supersedes the holographic reality, which is elusive based off your personal organic experience that you have, which is only a momentary glimpse that fades and collapse into memory. And if we understand the double slit theory, we know how waves collapse into particles based off the observer. But even going past that, memory itself, we have to understand the science of what drives thought. So what our brothers in the Congo talked about that, and when the Nation of God and Earth talk about, or Honorable Elijah Muhammad talks about, you exist before the moon and the star. That's true. That's true. So it's not looking at it from the organic aspect of the physical body, because this is not who you are. Sun, moons, and stars, if the witness is not there, what does it matter? You are what makes it matter. The whole universe is doing you.
Without you, it don't exist.
Without you, it don't exist. The whole universe is doing you as you are doing the universe. So the goal is to become the witness. We are the totality expressing itself through a human nervous system, which is only idea. It's concentrated energy. So we respect the levels and boundaries and the different stages of ultimately you. That sun is just as much as you as the ground is.
That's powerful, brother. And what about our great brother, our great teacher Elijah Muhammad, who came and stood us up. You know, we were low. We was at a low point. You know, we were beaten down, and we didn't have that confidence and as the guys would say, that knowledge itself. And he came and he picked us up. You know what I'm saying? He really stressed economics, self-empowerment, health, family structure. All of these are African principles.
That's right.
All of that.
That's right.
And he was taking street cats like us. Like, people don't even understand. Detroit Red was a street cat. He was selling drugs, he was pimping, he was prostituting. He turned that man into a messiah figure. He picked him up, like you say, to the living perpendicular. Like, they got to put respect on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, man.
Damn real. And before that, we got to pay homage to Marcus Garvey, because his blueprint was the base foundation of even what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad presented.
That's a fact.
Do for self. Do for self. Kemet teaches all through the literature to do for self. It teaches you to work. It doesn't teach to be lazy. Did you know it's a sin to be lazy in Kemet? A pep is a form of challenge and laziness. It takes a lot to be a farmer.
That's why once you get through the do-why, you go back to work.
You got to go back to work, because things are always vibrating on all levels. This is a form of vibration. Activity is always occurring. It even takes activity for a body to decay. Study the science biologically. Biological deprivation. See what goes on when a body decays. There's still work going on. There's still work going on. You know what I'm saying? It's an ongoing process of chemical reactions. Even when everything recycles back into the ecosystem, everything is always working. And when you understand that, you respect your current and your flow, and you can never age, because you know aging is real. Once you know that, bro, you get to adjust and adapt to time and accept it. That's the eternity right there. Acceptance.
Powerful, powerful. Now, something I wanted you to touch on, bro, from a westernized perspective, being Western Sudanic Creole, Congo Creole, when we think of resurrection, y'all already know who we think of. So, what's another perspective to look at the idea of resurrection?
Well, resurrect means to be erect, which means to stand. Even looking at the idea of what Yeshua, and a lot of those teachings that Yeshua taught, some people look at them as historical, some people don't. But regardless, we're coming from Greeks and Persians. We got to remember the Greeks and Persians was influenced by who? North Africans. And North Africans was influenced by Sub-Saharan Africans. So the base root of the teachings is still you at the core, regardless to what people look like and who they were. But resurrection over the dead is the ignorant mass. Could you survive after going through the challenges with these situations? Resurrection means to stand, to be erect. Wasir is a symbolic principle based off resurrection. Look at what he went through. He allowed his brother to trick him into a casket and cut him up into 14 pieces. And it was through Aset's intuition and going out to find him and doing all types of stuff to put the pieces back together through love. And after that, he was able to come back, and then dude turned around and cut him off again. But then he turned around and stood. Haru, which means that which is above, which is your higher self, flies above Nut. He says in one of the hymns, I have flew above Nun. I have flew above the sky Nut. So it means to go up, to stand, to withstand. So that's the whole code with resurrection and understanding the science of standing. That's the power, yo.
Wow.
And as much shit as we've been through, and we like making something out of nothing, we always turn water into wine. Shit, we survive with what we got and make the best out of it.
Every
Something out
time.
of nothing is the power, man. So that's what it is. The Christ consciousness has been in us. We've been Baraka. So it is what it is. Hold on, beloveds.
Bet. Powerful.
Yeah. I always say, man, that I believe, this is a personal, perspective. And I ain't trying to, be, cocky or nothing like that. But I always say we like modern griots, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
We trying to keep the tradition and transmitting this knowledge. And, even when you look at West Africa, there's a the Europeans that came there and studied them, it's like they look down on oral tradition, but you have to understand that oral tradition is passing knowledge through generations,
Yep, that's all it is.
And, these oral histories are very rich and complex. The storytelling, you know what I mean? The ancestry, these griots in West Africa, man, they could tell you who, just by your last name, they can go through your whole generational tree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not present in books. It's not present in in the archives. That did come with certain other civilizations in Africa later, but the oral, never look down on that oral tradition, and it's even alive today. When you look at the 5% nation of gods and earths and have the supreme alphabet and the supreme mathematics and the 12 jewels get passed, that's mouth to ear. You feel?
Yeah, oral tradition. Yeah.
You can't get it on the internet. You might can Google the math, but you ain't gonna know how to break it down. You ain't gonna know how to you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna know how to.
Yeah, if you up there in Harlem and one of the guys run up on you, you ain't gonna know how to break it down. You gonna look crazy.
That take, you got to walk and talk with them, and it takes it's an oral tradition, and it's alive today.
And that's the thing, man. When I see people getting any kind of knowledge off the internet, most of these groups, if you go build with them, they're here to teach anyway.
Exactly.
So they'll teach you if you want to be taught. Like it's that easy.
That's a fact, man. And it just, I just, man, I'm in love with Africa because I'm an African, and
Yeah, damn right.
We were talking earlier, before the show, we were talking about how the West, and we are from, we grew up in the West, but we still African in our origin. How the West separates, politics and religion and regular life, and how that's not really a thing, or was a thing back, in Africa. It really wasn't a thing. All that was really just life. Life was culture. Culture was the way of life.
Way of life.
We didn't separate that, and we weren't separated from nature. All of these African traditions are natural traditions. With Palo, which is a new world tradition, but it's still derived from Congo and Yoruba elements. With the spirits, with the woods in the Siri tradition, the plant medicine in hoodoo and voodoo. Even Noble Drew Ali had a nature-based thing he was doing.
Yeah, he was selling tonics and everything.
He was doing the tonics and the fasting and all of that. All of that plays a part in just trying to be a natural people.
Yeah. That's just like the Rastas with the hightail.
Exactly.
Living naturally.
Connected to the earth,
Like the name of the show, like we got from Noble Drew Ali, that old time religion, man. Like people hear that word and be like, oh, religion. But when you're looking at it from an African or any indigenous perspective, they're not talking about the Western kind of religion that everybody know
about. Exactly.
Like European Egyptologists will tell you the Pharaoh, he was the king. And yeah, looking at it from Western perspective, he was the king. But to his people, he was the living image of God on earth. Like they not, you don't look at it like they looked at it. Like I was saying earlier, like they had attributes like the gods do, like King Tut, Unk Amun, and Metanetta. That mean the living image of Amun. He was the god. Like that's how they looked at him.
Exactly.
Like people don't understand that. Like they didn't separate.
Exactly. let me see. It's an article that was saying talking about, it's called A Clean and Pure Nation. It's about Noble Drew Ali. It's called Noble Drew Ali's Clean and Pure Nation: The Moorish Science Temple, Identity, and Healing. And it was talking about let's see. Let me read a piece from it. It said, in 1927, Moorish Science Temple founder Noble Drew Ali created the Moorish Manufacturing Corporation to market his line of healing teas, tonics, and oils. Ali's dedication to keeping the Moors racially distinct and religiously clean and pure were mutually reinforcing and interpenetrating concerns. Furthermore, his vision of the Moorish nation and its material culture reflected larger trends in health, consumerism, and theological expression with American religious history. A Clean and Pure Nation, that's the name of the article. So goes back to that natural living. And even Elijah Muhammad with How to Eat to Live, you know. The farming that the NOI, the farms that the NOI have, you know, connecting with nature.
Farming, they got stores, they were doing for self, man. That's the natural way doing for self, though.
Yep. Same thing Brother Marcus Garvey was on. Yeah,
it's all powerful, man.
Check this out. I wanted to show the the screen for this Congo cosmogram.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yo, I missed something.
Now, yeah, we was just building, bro. We was Carlos about to show the he about to share a screen and show the Congo cosmology.
Oh yeah, the Congo cosmology is beautiful, bro. Matter of fact, me and you got that book that's in the book that we got on the Congo. You know that book?
Yeah.
The Bantu Congo.
The Bantu Congo book. Yeah, a lot of that stuff inside of some of it, not all of it, because you got it's like 3 volumes to that book.
Yeah, I think all of us got that book. Matter of fact,
that book.
Yeah.
That book is deep, man. That just goes to show you, you know, even the spider of Nancy in the Akan tradition and the memory, the spider being a memory of creation. It's just, man, it's so much connection between nature and knowledge and oral tradition. It's all there.
We brought a Nancy over here with us.
Yeah, we did. We definitely did. We brought that into
Bugs Bunny based off of African deity.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting that a lot of these people find, you know, they ways into, and I don't got nothing against Hinduism. Hinduism is beautiful. You know, and its origin might not be as beautiful as the later philosophy, but again, the people in India are our cousins. They are related to us through the first basal Eurasians that migrated over there, and the people that adjusted to those areas, primarily M2, M3, M4, and CF, M89, and they're in relation to us. Not saying us directly. They're people of color, so I respect a lot of the original pure Black Asians. But again, before the Hindus came in, or before they just started speaking Hindi from those Aryans or noble, what they mean noble when they came in, a lot of the systems that they had, it matches the same systems that you find in the Congo and all through the Nile Valley. You know, Shiva is an actual ancient Dravidian Tamil deity, and you find it in Harappa civilization. And this goes back to us linking with a lot of the brother from India. That's a 5% that talks about the Asiatic Black man existing in Africa and Asia and all that. There's a common bridge there. But a lot of people like to go into these Hindu swamis to get the answer. And it is some deep information in a lot of those texts. But it gets even more deeper in the root when you go inside of the continent. When you start to study the Congo philosophy, when you start, you know, studying the ancient Wagadu text, when you start studying, you know, even the Khoisan shit is dope when you really get deep into that shit. Kemet is powerful too. Nubia is powerful too. But when you start getting deep into Africa, it's actually the bridge between modern science. Because Africans been talking about a lot of this shit that scientists talk about. This just the scientists with the technology that they have prove the point of what Africans been saying. They prove the point.
And we were just getting it off observing nature. That's
right.
powerful, man.
Yeah. They prove the point. Nature. Yeah. It's
that's why I see some of them articles and they try to like shit on Africa. I'm like, yeah, it take us to come in there and fight that because it's that's crazy.
We explain the natural incidences in our traditions. We a lot of our traditions mimic the natural patterns of life anyway as well. So it's a two-way street.
Ashe.
We observed all that and we theorized it and you know put it to work. They just got the tools now in the modern age to actually carry this stuff out and test it. But we already theorized it.
Ben did it. Even dealing with like the ancient groups in Arabia before you have Islam. But I'm going to pre-Islamic Arabia with Allah, Al-Uzza, and Al-Minat and all that. Even going into that was, you know, the predecessors of Arabs. You can't be Arab without having African ancestry. Even that has an African root. It has an African root.
Deep.
You know what I'm saying? You cannot be an Arab without having some African ancestry. Africans have penetrated Arabia in 3 to 4 phases of human history. And I ain't even going back into archaic phases. I'm talking about modern Homo sapien, from the Nubian complexes that you find, from the recent footprints that they find from when Homo sapiens left out and went over there 100,000 years ago, from the so-called Eastern African and those Eurasian trades that they had in Yemen before they formed Aksum and Damat, from the Arabian slave trade when they took people from Tanzania and Uganda over there. You cannot be Arab without having African ancestry. And this is why a lot of the northern Middle Easterners, who also have some point percentages of African in them, but they have a little disgust for Arabs. They try to play the role like they're not the pure stock of Semitic or Semite speakers. But you cannot be a true Semitic or whatever you want to call it without having African ancestry. Remember, Proto-Semitic language comes from Africans before you even form it to Akkadians or Ugaritic and all that other shit. So you can find yourself in that as well. The reason why Arabs are looked down upon, they look down at other people because that's just them. That's what they like to do. They got pride. They're prideful people. People got pride. They do disrespectful shit like that. But they're looked down upon amongst other people because of the higher component of African ancestry that they have. That's why a lot of these foreign people or these other people, like primarily European races and certain people, don't like Islam. They can't stand it because it's a system that comes from people that's partially nigger. I'm sorry, it's the truth.
Facts, bro.
And what do you brothers think about the term Asiatic that Ali and Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad started to use? I look at it just Asia mean where the sun rise at.
Yeah. Asia means where the sun rise. It means the east. Marco Polo came up with the term Ahisha. Remember in Turkey, in the Asia Minor, he came up with that because and now in Sanskrit the term Asia Asu means the dawn, the sunset. Asia always meant the east when the sun rise. And believe it or not, the metaphor in Buddhism, when you look at him with the depiction of the sun rising, it means a phase of enlightenment. Asia also is equivalent to Kepra, the rising sun. Where does the sun rise? The east. Being in America and Africa is east of here, and this is how stupid these locations is. When you study, geographics and demographics, it's all fucked up and zigzag. You being in the far west, where's Africa compared to the far west before you get into Saudi Arabia and before you get into the Near Eastern part of Asia, before you get into East Asia? Africa would be what? Is that the Middle East when it's in the middle of here? So
yeah, that's gold.
Asia means the east, and it also means, Asiatic, body, the other means mind. This is the largest landmass where you have land outside of Africa being the second continent. So I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Because who was the first to go over there from the west? The African.
African.
So Asiatic black man is the African man. Hold on.
So they was looking to the east, but they weren't trying to be Arabs. It's evident in the MSTA and the NOI. They weren't trying to be Arabs. They just were looking to the east. That's where they look to. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, Elijah Muhammad was anti-Arab. He didn't even practice Ramadan with the rest of the Islamic world.
Exactly. He
was anti all that.
He wrote extensively about about being our true selves.
That's why I used to hear people saying, "Oh man, they think they Arabs." I'm like, well, you ain't read none of their work yet.
They do not think they Arabs.
Yeah.
They recognizing the root that we all came from, which is the black root.
Mm-hmm. And like bro just said, if you in North America and I'm looking towards the east, I'm looking at Africa.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Two very deep brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we could call our own as Africans in America, or African Americans, or black people, or whatever label we choose to use. Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, and Marcus Garvey, they are ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At the end of the day,
we respect our ancestry that's in Africa, before we got here, but we got traditions and things that we put together over here.
Yeah, that we got to honor. We got to keep honoring.
Yep. So I would never disrespect, you know what I mean, the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, and all that. I tip my hat to those ancestors.
Yeah, anybody that came at a time and tried to teach us something and better us, I'm with it 100%.
They used what they had at the time to build us up, give us culture, instill pride, cultural identity, gave us new names, new identities. All that's symbolic. We were reborn through these traditions, through the MSTA, NOI, 5% Nation, all of that. We were reborn through that. And even when they tried to come at the Circle 7, and I understand why, but like I said, at the time, Noble Drew Ali was using, what he had access to, the books and the different things that he had access to, the esoteric works and all of that. But it never said that he wrote it. The part that he wrote, some of the Circle 7, but it says divinely prepared by the Noble.
Yeah, he said he was done. Yeah.
It don't say he wrote it. It said divinely prepared. He prepared it. He put it together.
Yep. And he was a prophet, and we shouldn't look down at none of our messages, because in the Greek text, prophet only means a messenger. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a messenger. Noble Drew Ali was a messenger. Harriet Tubman was a messenger. Shit, Marcus Garvey, as I said. John Henry Clark was a messenger. We have messengers. God's work doesn't stop. It's a warning. We always have warning. Dr. Martin Luther King was a messenger. What's interesting about us, though, is that we make these deities real. You're not going to experience Jesus outside of the most caring, loving person that you had with Dr. Martin Luther King, even though they said he was doing certain things. But look at what he had to go through. And people shit on him. He manifested that. I can say that he's more genuine than a lot of people that you find where Jesus from. Think about it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And just the metaphysical thought, just all of the things that they taught, man. It really lifted us up, man.
No, I can run, bro. I can run, but I got you, bro. But look, I see. Get that money. Hello?
Yo,
we here, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry, brothers. Yeah. But definitely, man. Yeah. I agree, man. We got to really recognize and venerate our ancestors, like Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, Malcolm X, Malik Shabazz. Yo, these people were amazing people. They were amazing people, and the message doesn't stop. You know, when we have prophets, there are warnings. There are warnings before destruction. Everybody get a prophet, including Euros. They got their messengers. Some people look at Trump as a messenger. He sent the message to the people that believe in him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have it's baraka. We have to we have to understand what we know. What I want the world to know, that we accept the process of life, and that's what makes us blessed. You can't do nothing but be humble.
Mm-hmm.
Ptah Hotep teaches us how fragile this physical world is.
Every moment a blessing.
That's peace.
Mm-hmm. Every moment a blessing.
Stay in the present. Keep working. Work, work, work. Like my brothers in the Baye Fall in Senegal. They work. Legay. They work. It's about application, action. The work is
That's
never,
how they work them too.
you know, the work is never done.
The Bay Fall, the brothers with the locks, they don't do Ramadan or none of that, do they?
Nah, they work. They build. They builders. They builders. You know, work is just as powerful as prayer. Being active and doing things and feeding people, that's just as powerful as prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Loving kindness, as they say in you know, in the Buddhism, you know.
Indeed. Like they say, prayer without works, man. You gotta have the work.
Got to.
The ritual ain't nothing. The ritual gets you ready to do the work.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it more perfect, bro.
Yeah. People forget that. People think they can wake up, do rituals, burn incense and all that. And that's part of it. I do that too, but after that, that's when the work come in. That's just to get your mind right.
Exactly. That's the psychology of the situation, would get your mind right, like you said, and then you got to put your body to work. You know, if you say you this, that, and the third, go teach somebody, go feed somebody, go do something.
Mm-hmm.
Action. And that's all our ancestors was about, man, is action, making things happen in real time, in the present, living in the present.
That's it.
They looked to the past and worked in the present.
That's what history's supposed to do. History's supposed to teach. We ain't supposed to get out here and regurgitate history. We're supposed to learn from it.
Exactly. And, you know, that's about all I got, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I think Ngozi might have dropped off. Yeah, I just wanted to go live. I ended the show in a minute. Want to get some content flowing.
That's peace.
So if that's all you had, brother, we can wrap it up and do it again next time. Might do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm free.
Bet. Well, peace and love to the family. Team Osiris on the horizon. And we'll be back.
Peace.
Peace.